Hi everybody, welcome to this month's spiritual development webinar. I'm just going to be bringing in Genevieve, so bear with me a minute. Hey Emma.
Hi.
Yee, beautiful
Hello.
lady.
Hi.
Oh, yes, we got connected. I'm excited. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know this is the first time for you, so I'm going to just do a brief introduction for you. So you've got a moment to kind of sit there, listen to me gibber on about how awesome you are. So listening carefully, because it's all true. So just for anyone who's joining us already here now, Emma, hello, and anyone else who's watching it in, welcome to this monthly spiritual development webinar. I invite a very special person every month to come join me and share their journey and their beautiful work that they're doing. And so far it's just been amazing. Every single person who's come along and shared with us, it's usually been a first time experience to come share the work live in a video format like this. So a lot of people are coming out of their comfort zones, but they feel so called and drawn to speak their truth and share their work and all the amazing things that kind of brought them to this place. So we have Genevieve. She's bringing in some wonderful divine feminine energy with her. So everybody take a really deep breath and get ready to tap into your inner goddess. I know that I'm definitely ready. I've known Genevieve for many years. I can't do the math, but it's been several years now. And we have met in the UK when we were both living there. Currently, we're not. Genevieve is in Northern Ireland and I'm in the USA. So we have wonderful technology that allows us to bring us in different places in the world, different times. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon here for me, and it's 9 o'clock in the evening for Genevieve. So I'm very grateful for technology, and I'm grateful for our connection because it's really been timeless. And every time that we have these conversations, just like we're doing now, we're having a FaceTime or a video call, they've always really helped me, and I know they help Genevieve as well. So I just felt like we should be sharing these conversations with people, even just have the chance to be a fly on the wall with our wonderful chats. And I've just been in awe watching Genevieve's work grow, watching her family grow. Her approach to parenthood is just really inspiring to me. And this priestess path that she's walking is just truly an honor to behold. I'm only really watching from the screen, but I'm really feeling so much deep, sacred work being done. And I felt that as I was setting this video up as well. It's just such special work. It should be very, very respected and honored and nurtured. Genevieve's work provides a beautiful portal of deep connection where the heart filled with pure love wishes to take you on a journey to remember the truth of your innocence. That was a quote from Genevieve's website. And I won't keep talking for too long, but I really wanted to kind of just build up this introduction of Genevieve. And I really felt like I was reading through her website and stuff and looked at her introduction page, and what's written here is really beautiful, and I really think it sets the stage for what we're about to talk about. So just bear with me for a moment doing the talking here. just close your eyes and really listen into these words, really feel into them, because they will touch you. She whispered, "Return to innocence." So I did. This is a sacred portal. It's a starting point and an empty container that I will fill with the abundant gifts of my truth, creativity, and universal love offerings that flow through me. Now is the time to rise and be seen as she birthed me, us. Now is the time to break through anything that serves to contain us. Now is the time to move past our fears around lack and worth. Now is the time to address our limitations that have us competing rather than supporting. And now is the time to unravel and see the truth of who you are and what we are. This is a call from my womb heart. It's an invitation to work with me so that together through my offerings we can transform. I'm doing this work for everybody, just so you know. If you are a woman already on the path of wisdom, seeking that this open, awake, that is seeking, open, awake, and aware of your gifts, yet are struggling to believe that you are ready or able to offer them to this world. Oh. This felt like such a good idea at the time.
It's an occupational hazard of mine, Frankie.
Oh, it really is, and we'll talk about this more. I know that I'm surrounded by love and people who are on the same page here, so I'm willing to cry through it if you're willing to bear with me, because it's important to just be authentic, and it really is touching me. And every time I connect with Genevieve, this just kind of happens. I'm sitting there going, I don't know why I'm crying, but I am crying. So it's a huge release, a lot of healing already happening. So if you're a woman riddled with self-doubt, lacking in confidence about who you are and what you're capable of, if you are a woman who carries an intense fear around being seen, visible with your gifts, your passion and your purpose, if you are a woman transitioning through many life challenges and are alone in this, if you are a mother who needs a safe space to come and be held, seen and loved where you are, if you are a woman who has experienced sexual trauma, struggling to reclaim your own sexual and sensual self, then I am a woman who can support, love, hold and see you through all of this into a woman who is confident, clear, capable and deeply connected to the truth of who you are. I see you reading these words. Hold on. As the phoenix rises from the ashes of destruction, to find that you and I are the same holy love of creation, yet we carry our own unique vibrational frequency of love. And it is this that the world needs right now. It is love that I'm calling home. It is love that I'm calling into action. It is love that I'm calling into hope. It is you who is created from the womb of the Holy Mother and the heart of the Holy Father that is feeding these words. Oh God. Hearing my call, you will answer. She has whispered, return to innocence. Will you answer her call? Okay. I did not get to read that as clearly as I'd hoped, but I really think it demonstrates exactly what this work does. It just touches you so deeply that you have to just release everything that you're holding on to. And thank you. That's exactly what I'm doing. So I'm going to take a deep breath. You know, I've read that all day, and even though it moved me every time, I really feel like there is a lot of spirit surrounding all of us right now and tapping into all of us as women to support each other and be there for each other even when it's a little bit messy and things aren't perfect. So bear with me 1 second. I should have had tissues closer.
Those tears are sacred, Frankie.
Yeah.
Absolute
No shit. Oh,
Yeah.
you lady are just amazing. And your words, they always touch me. Just being around you touches me, and I'm glad everyone can see the effect. So, and thank God for tissues. So I'm going to pull myself together because I really don't feel sad and I really don't feel happy. I just feel cleared. I feel a hell of a lot better. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for enduring my dramatic introduction. And I could easily go on talking. I'm just so honoured to have you here, and thank you for listening to me talk about you. I definitely want to hear a lot more from you now. So let's just start with a little introduction from you about you.
An introduction about me. I always find this really hard, if I'm honest. There's so much about me that's extraordinary, and there's so much that is very ordinary, very everyday. A mother at home, brushing the floors, tending to my children, my home, and holding that. And yet, alongside all of that, I have all of this beautiful, amazing, miraculous experiences happening that guide me and that hold me in that and help me see the love that's there continuously, even through whatever might be challenging us, whatever is releasing through us. But a big part of my passion and my work is to bring people back to love. It's really that simple. It's never been anything else. It's been my driver, my why, my reason for all of what I do and what I share right now. It's just love, because we forget the love when we get caught up in life. And I'm here to remind you that you're loved in any way that I can.
You're very, very good at that. You're very good at that, indeed. So I'm really interested in what kind of started you on the journey to kind of making the spiritual side of your life like an everyday thing rather than, you know, a one-off workshop that we go to every now and then or a course that we're doing. What made you transition it into being something that you're now living?
I suppose for me, really, it started off as everyday living, because when I had that moment, I had a moment in 2009. It was a really, it was a huge turning point for me. It was actually around this time of the year. this beautiful solstice
Right.
energy. It wakes us all up. It awakens lots.
Right.
And I had these incredible angelic experiences with Archangel Michael and Archangel Raphael and our beloved Gabriel. And so this all began. And for me, it began in my home. I had no teachers. I had no retreats. I wasn't seeking. I wasn't looking. And I had this, what I now know to be an awakening experience. And I didn't even have words for it. I didn't even have a way to describe it. I just knew that in that moment I felt heaven on earth. I felt and seeing what our soul's light is like. I was looking in the mirror and I was seeing the holy, beautiful gorgeousness that we are. And I had a lot of questions. And so I went into a very deep dive, personal time with these angels because I wanted to know, well, why have I been hurting all of my life? Why did all of this trauma happen to me? Why is life so fucking hard? Excuse my French, but do you know, I wanted to know. I wanted to know because I had spent a huge part of my life in a lot of pain up to that point, and I was angry. I was really angry because I wanted to bring this to everybody. I wanted to know, well, how can I help people feel this? And I was told to live it. Live it and be it anywhere you can, at any place, at any time. And it will become an everyday thing. And so this evolved and this grew, and I started to feel into how every breath, every word, every experience is a living prayer. It is an expression, it is an extension of our own divinity, of what was placed inside of us the moment we were created. And I started to bring ritual and ceremony and prayer and more faith and more hope. I started to really just deepen my practices. And sometimes my practices can be as quick as lighting a candle and honoring the light in that way, or the hand on the heart and the hand in the womb. Sometimes it's all day full immersions. I'm right in there and I'm feeling it with every breath and every experience. And then there's other times there's so much chaos around me. I have 6 children, for anybody who doesn't know. And they all have their own wee hearts and their own wee egos and their own wee lives and personalities, as do my husband. So they are all in the mix along with me. And then I'm there in this whirlwind, sometimes my own creation, sometimes theirs. And I'm remembering that we're held, we're loved, we're safe. And I'm trying to bring more of that to life. And yeah, so I hold that flicker of faith, of hope continuously as best I can.
I love that. I love that. And it does. Let's just bring up, how many children does Genevieve have?
6. 6 brothers.
6 wonderful, wonderful children, ranging from, how old is your oldest?
My oldest is 18 and my baby is 2 common. So yeah. There's big gaps.
You just amaze me at all times. You really do, and you do bring your spiritual into your everyday, and even with the children, I see all the things that you do with them as well, and how a lot of the time you're allowing them to share their wisdom with you as daily guidance, and
absolutely.
you share that with your audience a lot, which I really benefit from, and I think everybody else is as well, just acknowledging that wisdom that is always there around us. It's awesome. So I'll be posting links to your website and your social media and everything on this video for everybody. And I've been really exploring your website a whole lot more as I've been researching to do this interview with you, and I've really been enjoying exploring and learning about all the different offerings you had. And I did get me thinking about what got you to creating and pulling and bringing all of this stuff together?
I suppose the more I dropped into my own bodily wisdom, the more I deepened on this path. I started to see that there was three. I'm obsessed, and the women who work with me know I'm obsessed with the sacred Trinity and our sacred three. And I noticed I felt, I seen very clearly the artist, the sacred artist, and how that shamanically moved through me, and that was part of my medicine. And then I seen the call to the divine feminine, to the embodiment, to moving into the body. Because when I was moving through my own healing journey, the talk therapies were amazing. The energy therapies were another layer. But it wasn't until I started to breathe life and come home to this body and really feel what was happening inside of this flesh, this human flesh, that healing really started to happen and things really started to lift for me. So then I became this became an obsession, I suppose, where I started to really feel into how can I become more alive in this body and this flesh and bring all of that beautiful energy, because we can be all up there in our higher chakras and right up into the heavenly realms, but if we are not bringing that down, grounding it through into the back into the earth, into this flesh and blood that we are, then it's no good to anybody. It's no good to humanity. It doesn't serve. It only serves us to escape more, you know, and we're not arriving home, you know. So this is where that path of the priestess work started to really grow from. And then the mother, I've been mothering since I was 21. My eldest daughter arrived at a time when I was a complete mess. I was moving on a path that was very destructive, very unhealthy, and she arrived into my womb like a bang and woke something in me, and my son arrived soon after. So I was sitting at 22 with these two beautiful babies with no fucking clue how to mother and no clue how to take care of myself. And I made a promise to them. I promised I'll learn. I'll do whatever I need to do. I will let go of whatever I need to let go of. I'll be whatever you need me to be. And I've allowed that to grow and me to grow. And I've made a lot of mistakes as a mother, so I've learned a lot. And well, we can call them mistakes or learning curves, whatever way we want. But I have a lot of compassion.
You've experimented a lot.
Yeah. I wanted that, you know. I wanted a space where mothers could be safe and heard and felt. So I felt the mother, the priestess, the art, and I started to feel into how I could offer what moves in my heart out, so that the women that were connecting with me could be felt on all levels, because we are creators. We are all artists in one way or another, you know, be it through word, be it through, you know, music, art, writing, to cooking, gardening, whatever it might be, you know. And then we are all women and priestesses and oracles and, you know, witches, whatever. I say priestess, but the priestess for me is the oracle, the witch, the shaman, the medicine woman, whatever title it is that fits with her. For me, it's priestess. And then the mother, it's the thing that holds me to this earth most. Without these children, I would be away up there. And none of the wisdom that you are feeling would be here.
I know so many people will identify with that. They really will. And I think it's part of our journey of awakening is we do get kind of caught up in the ethers a little bit to begin with, because we're working, we're learning, we're connecting again. And it's real nice being there that we actually really don't want to, you know, come back and ground it at all. And there's a huge amount of time where a lot of us spent resisting coming back and grounding that. But I know that many of the people that I've been connecting with, we're all synchronistically feeling that push to really get in and ground with everything, and get back to the foundations with it all, and just bring it down and be here. Because my guides were like, if you weren't supposed to connect with people, you would be on top of a mountain in the Himalayas.
Yeah, you wouldn't be.
You're here to anchor it in. So it's, and I think day-to-day life does help to ground us when we kind of are more accepting of it. Like for me, like housework and cooking and stuff is a very grounding experience. It makes me enjoy my surroundings and get in my body, and so you can use these normal, ordinary things that are here to help anchor us down again. So it keeps the balance.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. Because, and you said housework, like when I'm doing my housework or washing the dishes or playing with my children, that's when I get most of my amazing downloads and most of the information that I move through and bring out.
Right.
It's in those very ordinary, beautiful moments of everyday life. It's in the chaos the medicine's born. Like it's in the mess, it's in the dirt and the muck. Do you know what I mean? When our face is flat in the ground.
When you're least expecting it.
Yes. And we see, and then it becomes clear. And we're learning to recenter much quicker. We're learning to come back to the calm much easier. We're not staying in that dark night of the soul for months and years now. We're moving in and out of it rapidly, and that is intense for a lot of people, and it's intense for people that don't know what's happening to them. It's intense for people that maybe aren't aware of our shift on this planet, or maybe don't believe the planet is shifting or evolving or growing. But we are, as a species, continuously evolving and expanding, and part of that is spiritual expansion. Part of that is heart expansion. It's understanding that we are incredibly needed and gifted, and we're the guardians of this earth, this planet. She called us here, and we're here, and she needs us awake and aware and present, and a lot of us aren't. That's breaking our hearts, and that's leaving us depressed. It's leaving us anxious, disconnected, disembodied, disassociated. And we are trying to crawl our way back to her, the mother. Yeah.
And don't you feel like the kids are kind of like already upgraded human beings?
Absolutely.
As we're kind of trying to catch up to them, right?
Yeah, 100%. They call us out on everything continuously. These kids tolerate zero bullshit. They are, when they're not aligned and they're not centered, we know.
Right.
And they mirror back perfectly where we're still not growing, where we're still resisting. Right. They're the perfect mirror, the perfect reflection.
They really are. And I've been
there's an experience I moved through
with every single one of yours that is being born.
Every single one.
Yeah.
Has lifted something else, has mirrored back to me something hugely important in my own journey. And even I have a child who's just 1.5, she'll be 2 now in August. And she was sad today, and she looked at me, and her eyes looked into my eyes, and she said, "I'm sad." Not even 2. And she could articulate that she felt sad. Her leg's broken, she can't move, she's feeling frustrated. But she hit the cast, and she looked at me direct into my eye and said, "I'm sad." And I was like, there's adults can't even look at somebody in the eye and just own their own sadness and say, "I am sad."
Right.
Do you know? Instead, they run around busting through the place, not able to understand that maybe beneath the anger or the rage or something is sadness.
Right.
You know, there's something else there. But these kids, they're just in it. They're in their feelings, they're in their emotions, they're embodying who and what they are. I have a wee boy, he's like 4, he held his sister's hand. He said, "Can I kiss your hand?" And she was like, "Yes." And he kissed your hand. He understands without being taught consent.
Right.
We're all walking around still trying to figure it out.
Right, I know.
They're just born knowing. And we keep going on about we need to teach the children. No. It's not the children that need taught empathy or compassion or connection or love. It's us that need reminding, because sadly we've moved through a lot of experiences on this planet that create barriers to that, that embed trauma into our nervous system, into our energy bodies. And we are moving through eons, thousands of years of that right now.
Definitely.
Collectively and individually, and we all hold a piece, and we all have something of value that we can heal and move through within our relationships, within our partnerships, be that business, be that lovers, be that brothers, sisters, be that mother, fathers, whatever it might be. We all hold a piece, and we can all offer something that is helping heal and move past all of these layers and layers and layers of pain and trauma. But sadly, there's a lot of people not aware that they're even walking around with trauma in the body.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. And that's why it's so important, you know, that we're kind of walking our talk and focusing on our own journeys and being that really great mirror, that bright light for those people who aren't aware yet to see. Because the more we keep walking our truth and embodying it, I think it does. It's just having a ripple effect, and slowly we're seeing it grow all of the time.
I have fed those stories even into my own children, unconsciously, subconsciously. Do you know? And when that's revealed to you as a mother or a father, do you know? When that's revealed to you as a parent, it's an opportunity for healing. Not an opportunity for more blame and more guilt and to feed shame and hide it under the mat again. It's an opportunity for you to hold your child as they look at you and say, actually, do you know? And whatever that might be. And sometimes we're very good at receiving it, and sometimes we're not, because we fall back into our own child, our own trauma.
Right.
So it's this constant loop of learning, growing together. But the younger ones, the ones that are very young, I would say 6 and below, they just seem to be love. Their experience is very different. You know?
Definitely.
Their experience is very, very different.
Definitely. They're definitely fearless. I've definitely noticed how fearless they are, and definitely very open-hearted. It's amazing, and I love how your work is kind of creating this sacred space for women to come together, and how you're kind of supporting women individually as well as they're working through their lifetimes of pain and trauma. And I'm wondering, because I'm sure that you're getting some really amazing perspective and insight through working with all of these people, that I'd be interested to know what you feel is the greatest need of women at this moment.
What it's always been, safety. Women need safety. They need safety to feel nourished, accepted, heard. They don't need another woman coming and telling her what it is she needs. They need another woman that's willing to hold her and hear her and witness her wherever she is, and trust her to come into acceptance and peace and the realization that she has what she needs already inside of her. And should she ask for advice, should she ask for support, then you offer what you have. And then should she accept, then that's when it starts to move and starts to shift in a way for her. But what I have found is that when you create a safe space for women to come, hold hands, and really see one another. And I've no rules necessarily in my circle except one. It's not your space to decide what a woman needs. All you have to do is listen. Just listen to her. Because we have spent a very, very long time in our lives, men and women, children and all, across the board, humanity, not being heard, not being seen, not being felt, not being witnessed. In those places that we keep hiding and putting behind closed doors, there's so much shame in humanity being lifted off the veil right now. It's just like, right?
Right.
And a big part of my work and my experience in this human life has to move through shame in a very open way,
Right.
in a very it's like I'm compelled to speak to it and to move through it and to offer a space and an openness and a vulnerability, because humans are so afraid of it. We're so afraid.
Right.
You know, I used to think there was something wrong with me because I always wanted to go to those places. I always wanted to dig deeper. I always wanted to, you know, I was always open that
Right.
way. And everybody was so uncomfortable with it. So I thought, right, there's something wrong with me here. But actually, no, it wasn't that there was anything wrong. It's just how I'm made. And it's become something that I'm able to bring to the space where I hold the women. And there has been, the women reaffirm continuously that they feel safe with me.
Right.
They feel safe. And for me, that's it. Once we feel safe, we open. Once we feel safe, we blossom. Once we feel safe, we speak. And we let go.
Mm-hmm. That's
Yeah.
so true. It's so true. And I know from, I've come from a family of 4 girls. I'm the oldest. And I know you've got quite a few women in your family as
Yeah.
well. And a lot of the relationships with women I had growing up over the years were truly very different to the ones that I'm attracting now. And I can see
Yeah.
how much more nourishing and nurturing it is for me to be a little bit more selective with who I
Mm-hmm.
keep in my circle, with who I share my highs and my lows with, knowing
Yeah.
who is ready to hold space.
Yes.
And that's a very important thing. And being able to connect with women who are authentic, who aren't trying to be anything, who are owning exactly who they are, where they are, what they are, and making
Yeah.
no apology for it, in the most loving way that I've ever felt. There's such a strength to
Mm-hmm.
it. Um,
Yeah. It really is.
and I was talking to my mum the other day because I have a really, really good, it's just, I'm sure we all know it. We've all got at least one friend that we have
Mm-hmm.
that connection with. God, I hope everybody's got at least one friend that you can
Yeah.
honestly, don't care whether you
Mm-hmm.
have your face on, whether your nose is
Yeah.
snotty, or whether your relationship is going through a bad patch or a good patch. They're going to
Yes.
be happy with your happies, and they're going to be sad with your sads, and they're just going to be with you. So if you haven't got a friend like that, then keep working on yourself to align with those people, because um, they are out there, and the more that we kind of keep working on our own self-care and self-love, the more we can kind of draw these people of like mind to us as well. So it's important.
Big part of it too, Frankie, is a big part of that is we women together are working through all of the conditioning and all of the comparison, all of the mistrusts that the feminine, like women, we don't trust each other easily. because we've been taught not to. We've been competing with one another since little girls, and we haven't even had the space to come into a loving environment, you know. I mean, even an experience today, I was walking today and I was walking past a group of people, and I could feel that wee part of me inside of me suddenly start to rise and start to kind of really claim her place, if you know what I mean. Do you know, to be, and I was like, so I watched myself on the inside. I thought, what is that? Do you know? And it was that wee part of me that is used to performing for whoever's there, who's used to wanting, you know, to be the one that's noticed. And do you know this kind of
Right.
edgy stuff? Women don't want to talk about this stuff. They don't want to talk about the way they compete and the way they're jealous and the way they're afraid of one another. But this is the stuff we dive into in women's circles. We dive into where we're holding back because we're afraid, because we're comparing, because we get jealous, because we get afraid, because somewhere along the line we were taught that the only way to get attention was to be whatever it might have been. Do you know what I mean? So all of the ick, all of that stuff underneath is what stops the trust building in feminine space. You know, so we move into that and we own our own part in that. You know, I've had some incredible experiences in my circles where the women have brought something to me and I've had to own something in myself that has risen.
Right.
Do you know? And where we've had incredible dialogue, you know, and moved through and untangled stuff in this collective web that's stopping women from supporting each other, from loving each other, from trusting the women with their husbands or with their children, or do you know, all of this stuff that flies about in the feminine sphere.
Definitely.
That we go to great lengths to conceal and hide. And you know, it's like when a woman starts to dress for herself, something very powerful happens to that woman when she's not dressing to compete with the woman across from her to get the attention from the man in the room. Something switches up for that woman. Something changes in her on a cellular level. She reclaims something that was
Definitely.
forgotten.
Absolutely.
You know, there's so much, so much.
I feel that so strongly, and I do. I'm all about it's that practice of self-love. You know, I've said to so many people, you don't need the diet. You really don't, because you will
Yeah.
lose pounds of energy when you just love who you are. It just, all that heaviness will just go. You won't need
Off.
anything. And I just think the more I love myself, the more I just focus on that, the more I make those choices for myself that are healthy. I wear the clothes that actually make me feel good. I'm honoring exactly, the more I honor exactly who I am, it's transformative. It literally changes, like my hair all of a sudden just grew. I suddenly now get tans when I never used to get a tan, even in this kind of weather. I mean, crazy stuff happens when you really start truly loving and looking at the good parts of yourselves, and honoring that in another person as well, you know. So
and beautiful women show up in your life, and they support you and they love you and they hold you the way you hold them, the way you hold yourself.
Definitely.
You know, I am blessed with incredible women in my life, incredible, across the board, all around the world, like, and at home here in Irish soil, you know, and I look in awe, like, I'm amazed by the people in my life. Do you know?
And that's how every
Incredible.
woman should be feeling that, you know. And I have far too many conversations with women who are complaining about the people they're surrounded by. I think it's really important to own that and make a choice to change. You know, don't be okay if you're not okay with this circle. don't do things out of habit and routine and duty. It's not
Yeah.
really.
Change it.
It's not helping
Yeah.
anyone.
No.
Surround yourself.
Don't be that woman, yeah, that sits around a cup of tea gossiping, ripping another woman down. Don't be that woman. And if you catch yourself there, because I caught
Oh
myself
yeah,
there
we all
years
have.
ago, caught myself in that space, and I watched myself and I thought, what? This is not the woman I am. This is not the woman I want my daughters to be. This is not who I'm choosing to be from this moment on. So we shift it, we change, we make a conscious choice, and it gets easier over time to remove ourselves. But it's so ingrained in our society that this is what we do. This is, you know, so it's about one woman choosing a different way, choosing not to be that, choosing to be the woman that sees the beauty in another, that sees her gifts, that sees her pain,
Right.
and who doesn't shame her for it or vilify her for it, or, and I can see that it really does make a difference. Just, to really explore these things and really dive into the parts where you act out and aren't the one that you want to be. Just own her.
Definitely.
She has a purpose. We all have a side that she has a purpose,
Right.
and she's there for a reason. So if the bitch is there and she's there for a reason, why is she there? What did she protect you from? She protected you from something at some point. She may need to protect you again,
Right.
but she doesn't need to rip the woman apart that just walked into the room
Right.
just because you didn't like what she wore or the way she spoke or whatever it might be.
Right.
Do you know?
Completely.
So we've got these sides of ourselves, all of these fractures, and just pull them all together and hold them all close. Remind them that they're loved.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it happens a lot where we are maybe seeing somebody else and you're being triggered by something that they're doing on their journey that you have also done in your past. And
Yeah.
I see a lot of
Yeah.
people being triggered that actually don't realize they're being triggered. They're actually judging
Yes.
someone for something that they've
Yeah.
actually done themselves
They've done,
in the past.
they're doing.
So yeah, I
So
think I'm very much there was some kind of message over the solstice for me about how important it is to create these sacred spaces for women to experience that connection with one another. So yeah, for anybody who's watching that feels any kind of excitement about that, perhaps you've got the ability to create that space within your home, or you can find a venue that you can do that with other women. I really encourage everybody to get together, and which leads us on to why is it so important that we come together. We have kind of covered that question a lot, but for example, coming together as women is something that actually we used to do in many old traditions and still do in the red tents and other ceremonies and rituals as well. It's not something that is new, it's something that's old that is being brought back and remembered. So again, it's not something we have to be taught. It's something that we just have to remember.
And it's important so that we can. And that we can remind her that she's safe in whatever she's moving through. When we come together in circle, we pray, we laugh, we cry, we dance, we sing, we paint, we nurture one another, we hold space for whichever woman is moving through something particularly difficult. So she has that space. Do you know, and it's just incredible, because these women leave filled up and held and nurtured, and then they take that into their everyday life. They take that into their mothering, into their relationships, into their businesses, into every aspect of their life, and they make the changes that they need to, the changes that they were afraid to make. They may leave that job that's been weighing them down. They may leave that husband that's been weighing them down. They may recommit to that husband in a whole new way. They may conceive after trying for many years. They may birth businesses that they didn't even know was inside of them. Do you know, they may begin to paint and never realize that there was even that inside of them. There's so many reasons why these spaces are important, and why they matter, and what makes them so special, because collectively at the minute, women are in every corner of the world, in every flipping continent. There is groups of women coming together, praying, remembering, loving each other whole again through ancient practices. This new age, it is not new age. It's a label that's been stuck on work that is in our very bones, that, you know, she whispered it into our bones at a time when we had to hide it, when we had to go into darkened spaces and not reveal these gifts because it wasn't safe to. So it was whispered in, it was like written on our skin, it was right inside of our wombs, inside of our hearts, waiting for this time, right now. Because we can't be hung anymore, we can't be killed anymore, we can't be, our throats cannot be slashed, we cannot be burned, you know, we cannot be held back, we cannot be vilified, labeled as crazy, medicated, do you know? We cannot come to the harm that we came to anymore. You know, it's safe now for women to come together. It's safe for women to remember. It's safe for women to bring their gifts to life, whatever they are, whatever they are. Whatever her medicine is, the world needs it right now. It needs
And
all of
every
it.
woman does have medicine, whether
Every
she
woman,
believes
every
it or
man
not.
medicine.
We all
Yeah.
do. We all absolutely
Yeah.
do. And it's love that definitely. I always say that about my husband. I feel like he loved me. He loved me so much that I began to believe it. Made me believe in myself. It just turned me into this whole new person. And
Yes.
you know, I'm blessed that I have a husband that did that for me, but wouldn't it be just beautiful if women were already doing that for each other, just filling up each other's cups, you know? It would just, that's the kind of world I definitely want to live in, where...
Could you imagine the way they would go home and nurture their families and nurture their husbands? Do you know, we're going home, or their partners or whatever, do you know, poor, because they're so filled up with love. And then, do you know, I've tested this a lot in my home life. I've tested the idea that it's not me that has that power to shift and change the environment, but it is. Because when I'm not in that center, and I'm not in that space where I'm honoring the ritual or the ceremony or the prayer or the bodily gifts or whatever it is in me that keeps me thriving and filled up, it just goes in, it goes into chaos. Like.
I always
And
that.
I remember, fill your cup, Genevieve. Find your space, find your women, cry it out, you know, rage it out, sing it out, write it out, dance it out, do whatever you need to do. And then you come back into that space and you recenter for those children and for your home.
It's so important. It's so important, and it could be a completely new way for women on Earth. It's definitely the divine feminine energy rising every day within all of us, and the more we share, just like we are now, it's just going to invite more and more women to do the same, you know. So when you kind of get a brand new shiny client, brand new person that wants to come and work with you, what's your kind of intention behind your connection? I know it will probably be kind of catered to every individual, but for you, what kind of outcome are you looking to create for people?
My intention's just to love her whole, just to pour in to her love and to really help her unravel whatever it is inside of her that's feeling confused or blocked or limited. You know, to really help her breathe into her own bodily wisdom so that she can reveal and feel the power of her own wisdom. You know, I was feeling something the other week. I was like, there was someone that was kind of, do you know, like imitation, do you know, copying, and it's like, why are women copying? There's no, and I was like, why is this annoying me? So I really sat with it. I was like, why is it annoying me to watch another woman copy another woman? And then I was like, what was frustrating for me was because that's not what the world needs. We don't need every woman the same. We need every woman discovering her own medicine.
Right.
And if there's women that are working with me that are not finding their own medicine, then I'll feel frustrated with that because I know that they have it. And they don't, thankfully, touch wood, the women that work with me don't copy or emulate me. They find what it is inside of them and then they share that. And I'm just looking in awe. I'm amazed at them. Do you know? There's not a woman I haven't worked with that I haven't cried for, cried with, laughed with, and really just, oh, you know, I love them. And I know people are, oh, you can't love everybody. But do you know what? There's enough shitty hate in this planet. There's enough people running around cranky and hurting people that I can actually love them with my whole heart. And I will. And if people choose to believe it or not is irrelevant. I know what my heart feels. Do you know?
Okay.
And so my intention is to love them and remind them and hold them while they remember.
Right. And I know that you've been working with the Magdalene energy as well, and we're hearing her name a lot. We're feeling her rising more and more. What do you feel, you know, her message is for us?
It's a big question, Frankie.
Yeah, I kind of realised that.
Oh, it's a big question. I personally have always felt connected to her and Mother Mary. And whenever I started to really feel her come into my consciousness, and it was around 2011, she gifted me, along with Christ, a beautiful ceremony. And I did it. And it turned my life upside down in a really good way.
Right.
But when I was in it, it wasn't um it wasn't easy, you know? And when I say upside down and inside out, it basically, what I feel Magdalene energy is trying to bring to life in people is she's wringing us out from the inside out. She's emptying us of anything and everything that isn't true, that is harmful or toxic or fearful, so that we can come home to the heart of our divine presence, our truth, our own inner alchemy, so that we can be that beautiful medicine that the world needs. Sorry, I apologize. My phone did a message thing. But yeah, she wants us just to burn through everything that's causing us harm on this planet. You know? She wants us to own and take responsibility for our contribution to the collective pain as individuals, as communities, you know. She wants us to find compassion for ourselves and for others, to really feel and hold ourselves within her compassion, her heart, her wisdom. She wants us to believe that we are not alone on this planet. We've never been alone, but we always, as human beings, we often feel alone. We go into this little space of, ah, I'm all by myself. Nobody's helping me, nobody cares for me. We fall right into that victim role and we play it so well. And we lie about there wailing, and then she comes, scoops us up, holds in her hands, breathes life and love back into us, holds our hand and guides us to where we need to be, just like the many other guides and spirit and guardians of this planet, of this earth, of this universe, you know. But she carries a flame of sacred medicine right now that I believe is to heal the sexual wounding on this planet, to stop it ripping through our children's innocence, to stop it causing the harm that it is, because it's just way too many. It's just too vast now. It's one of the biggest corruptions, illnesses on this planet right now. And part of her gift to humanity is to take us back into sacred, holy, erotic innocence. And that is so we stop moving into these patterns that are birthing children still entangled in all of that shame, you know, so that we stop hurting each other, stop abusing each other, stop causing harm, you know. Yeah.
I feel that. I feel that so strongly, and I know everybody else does, and very, very aware of you know, all the sexual trauma that many of my clients have been working through, and the slave trades and paedophiles that are running amok right now, that no one wants to talk about or acknowledge, but no, quite frankly, I don't really care. I'm sorry.
She's given voice to that. Yeah. And we can't keep turning a blind to it. It's happening, it's real. And part of the Magdalene role and path and energy is to shift that, you know.
Yeah. Definitely. So what kind of advice do you have for women right now? You know, a woman that is feeling maybe disconnected at the moment, who doesn't have that circle of friends, who's feeling really confused about life and her path and why she is where she is. What would your advice to her to be, to kind of as a first step to help her shift forward?
Honestly, I would say to this woman, as a first and gentle step, is to rest her hand on her heart and on her womb on a daily basis and just breathe. Just reconnect to her own heart, her own womb, her own breath, her own body, in a very gentle, safe, compassionate way. And just move her body in ways that feel safe and loving and nurturing to her. This just hand on heart, hand on womb is a life changer. Very, very simple. And pray, honestly, prayer. People undervalue, underrate the power of prayer, but it's huge, it's massive. And we associate prayer with a lot of negative experiences and teachings and conditioning. And so it's being forgotten, and people are forgetting to pray because they have associations with faiths and doctrines that weren't supportive of us as children or as a humanity. And so bringing home the active prayer back into our well-being and into our experience on a daily basis is just a way to reconnect with our own divinity, our own Holy Spirit, with the God the Father, Goddess the Mother, do you know? The earth. Your prayer can be as simple as walking on earth and just feeling gratitude for her. It doesn't have to be spoken, you know? It can be felt. But yeah, hand in heart, hand in womb, and really just reconnect with herself through breath.
That's
and it'll
amazing.
open up.
That's great advice. Absolutely. I think that is a wonderful starting point and opening point, and it's also intention is an incredibly powerful thing when we just set our intention through our prayer, just through a simple thought, just through a simple hand gesture or a breath. It really does do amazing things. Don't underestimate it, thinking that how is my hand on my heart and my hand on my womb going to change my life? Well, prove me wrong.
Surprise.
You know? Prove us wrong.
Yes.
So for you, what is it like to walk this kind of priestess life?
My initiations in this life have been thick and fast, sometimes cruel, hard. Sometimes it's been lonely. Sometimes it's been breathtakingly beautiful. Sometimes I have witnessed the most exquisite, miraculous things. And other times I'm on my knees and saying, I'm done. And actually, just last week, in the lead up to this call, I was like, nah, I'm done. Can't do this work anymore. I'm holding too much. And it's too hard. People are hurting. People are breaking down. And I'm hurting, you know? And it's like, and I was breathing all of this stuff. The solstice really ramped up a few things for me. And I was like, what do I need to let go of? And I was thinking, I need to let go of the women, the circles. This is what I'm letting go of. And then I moved through the solstice. And then the fire came back up the belly, back up the womb, back up into the heart. And I was like, it's not the women I need to let go of. And the revelation started to happen. And so this experience is constantly spiraling and taking us into places that are unexpected. But it's a devotional, you are constantly devoted to this life. You're constantly moving into your own heart and bodily wisdom in ways that are not easy. You know, you are dissecting and digging deeper continuously because you want to understand and experience truth. And you're asked to trust a lot. There's things I'm asked to trust that people would be like, what? What is she doing? What is she doing now? You know, I'm pretty confident my husband days looks and goes, what is she at? And my children, you know, but at the same time, I know and trust in this path 100%. But not 100% of the time, because sometimes I'm just in my own ego, my mind takes over, I'm a human being, and sometimes I get lost in all of that as well, you know.
Right.
So yeah, and then the children come from the street and hand you roses.
Right, exactly. There is a balance still happening all the time, and I imagine holding space for as many women as you do, you energetically have to work through a lot of stuff for them, with them. So I imagine that those solstice alignments for you are a huge dump, like a data dump. Like all these people that you've been working with. It's a lot to do, and I respect you for it. I'm very grateful that you're able to do that, because I know that you would have had to have, I mean, we all know sometimes we have a friend that is a bit depressed and they're really testing us, man. I mean, it's like taking every single part of us to be with them and to just allow them to work through what they're going through. So if we all know how that can drain us just with the one person, you would have had to have done so much inner work to be able to work with these groups. So well done and kudos to you. Okay, we're kind of coming towards the end of our webinar. I know that we could easily talk on and on, and I would, I'm sure that we will do more talks in the future together. But let's just quickly, I want to share, because you are an amazing artist alongside all of these other wonderful offerings that is you. Your artwork is just soul filled. It's absolutely amazing. Paintings that have even been made into card decks for, I can't remember the name of the magazine right now.
It's Soul and Spirit. Yeah.
Soul and Spirit magazine. So any of you guys that have been reading that, they've made many decks out of your artworks. And if anybody's interested in those oracle cards and stuff, I know that Genevieve has got them available as well. But how are you kind of using and working with your art at the moment?
At the moment, I I just put out an offer, so I kind of feel limited in the art, that I would love to be doing it more, if I'm very, very honest. But I do have commissions, so I put out commissions now just twice a year, and I put it out there, and then I do my own wee bits and pieces in between. But my art is just, it's like my shamanic medicine woman just comes to life the minute I start to paint. I paint with my hands and my fingers mostly. And and it's just that extension of my own soul. It is for me mostly. It is my medicine, and I love it. Yeah.
And you're working with like oils.
Yeah.
You mainly work with the oil painting.
I work with acrylics and oils, and I sketch. Yeah.
You do some lovely
but
stuff.
and it's just like a complete it's just like a complete channel and experience, you know. I don't know what's going to come onto the canvas. I don't know what's going to happen when I start working with somebody. When they commission me for a piece of work, I move into so many areas of their lives, and healing starts to happen, and I journey through. There's so many layers before the actual painting is finished, and it's just incredible. And I love it. I really love it.
Yeah, and I'll add in that I don't have her here, but I will post her up to share with everybody. But you painted a blue being for me. I call her the Blue Lady, but she's been with me for a long time. And when I received that painting, it was extremely synchronistic. I had actually started reading a book at the same time that was all about this blue angel in the fifth dimension. They didn't call her an angel, they just called her the Blue Lady, and she wasn't of any dimension, she was of all dimensions. And came in
And that's what
so
happens with the
perfectly.
paintings. Mm.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I felt that
Mm-hmm.
so much, like with the colours that you were using were definitely shifting my energy, and a lot of remembrance actually came from that painting as well. It really helped me to remember an entire lifetime actually. So
Yeah,
they
I remember
are
that. It was incredible.
extremely powerful. Yeah.
It
I
was.
encourage
Yeah.
everybody to have a look at Genevieve's
Mm.
artworks. It's some beautiful, beautiful, moving stuff. So, kind of in closing, I've been doing an exercise thing with the group where I'm kind of picking a word each month for us to explore. I'm creating like a card for it, and then I do like a mind mapping experience, and the whole process is to kind of prompt and activate everybody's intuition to help us all delve a little deeper into our own journey of self-awareness and our subconscious. And I just feel that words are so powerful, where they really do transform our lives when we start focusing on them. And I started focusing on the word goddess on the 1st of June.
Yeah.
And I couldn't even write the things that have been unfolding ever since I started focusing on that word, as it has done every previous month, depending on what word I'm deciding to invite into my world. And I'm finding all these different beliefs about the goddess energy that I didn't realize that I had, and it's all kind of expanding and growing more and more. And I'm just wondering if you want to active pot about how you, oh, did I lose her? I may get her back, bear with me. That was very, did I just bore her to death? I might think. 2 seconds, we lost connection.
Yeah. Sorry. My
Hello.
phone.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. That's just the nature
Yeah.
of these live videos. I mean, we're doing it on our phone here. I think we're doing good. But I was basically asking if you could just summarize what the word goddess means for you, just so that we can just add your wisdom into our little collective pot.
Oh gosh, the word goddess.
Again, I know it's hard. Just from your heart, whatever comes to mind first.
Earth, fire, passion, groundedness. Yeah. Cheese, everything that we are. Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh. Well, I'm so grateful for your time. I'm so grateful for you sharing everything that you have done with us, and for everybody has been watching or will watch. Please know that this is just a little snippet of Genevieve. This is just a tiny fragment of really who and what she is and what she does. So if you're stirred, or if your heart has opened in any way, please do reach out to her. Please do explore her website and her services, and support her work in any way you can. And yeah, I will be making sure that I post links to your website and everything. And anyone who's in Derry, Northern Ireland area, that's the location Genevieve's in. So feel free with her. I've lost her one more time, but we'll be okay. 1 second, we're closing here. Well, thank you to everybody who's been here. Ross, thank you. Hi, Genevieve.
Sorry,
That's all right,
my
darling.
phone's cutting off now.
Yeah, we're just being hurried
But
along.
thank
We're
you
like,
so much.
it's time to move along, ladies. Come on, stop the jibber jabbing.
Thank you so much, Frankie, and I'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely.
All right,
Sweet
thank you
dreams,
so
darling.
much,
I love
everyone.
you. Take care. Bye.
Bye.